Welcome. This is Cindy Rodriguez of Reclama. We're going to be talking to the Tarot Queen today about the Mercury retrograde, how to work with this energy, what does it mean until October 2nd, and much more. We are here with the Tarot Queen who's going to break down the planet, the transits, and much more. And I was just telling everybody that if they have any questions, just put them in the chat, and then we're going to get to them toward the end, because I think we're going to answer a lot of people's questions, like talking, but that we're down to talk about this. Like, this is the time. And so that's my introduction, but please introduce yourself in your own words. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Well, my name is Sister. I come from a Nicaraguan background, and I've been pretty much a bruja my whole life. Ever since I was little, I would have like these premonition dreams. I would then, little by little, everything just starts kind of right connecting, right as you're going and you're learning. Like, I was very intuitive with my dreams, or I kind of connect with spirits, and then was interested in like, what does this all even mean? So I would go to the library while my mom was in our mall that we had in our town. There was a Bourdain's. I don't know if everybody remembers Bourdain's. Before it was called Macy's. Macy's. Okay. Oh, there was these stores called Bourdain's, and Macy's bought them out, so they're Macy's. So that was their name before. So my mom, there was a library, there was a bookstore in the mall. So I told my mom, I'm gonna go to a bookstore, and I promise I'll stay here while you go into a mall to shop. Yeah. So she would, her sisters go in there. I would be in the bookstore, and I would be like in the esoteric section, reading things about dreams, moon, astrology. And my mom actually doesn't speak English or Spanish or English. She doesn't know how to read it or write it or nothing. So when I would show her a book, I would be like, Mami, ¿puedo comprar esto? And I would just like, ¿puedo comprar esto? And she'd be like, ¿qué es eso? I'd be like, es de la estrella, es de ciencia. And she'd be like, okay. And the lady at the front, I would give it to her, and she'd be like, what the hell? I think she was like, look, she'd always notice I would get all these weird books. And my mom had no clue that she was actually, in some kind of sense, financially providing this kind of stuff for me. Even though like they wouldn't really like nurture my own little things, because we grew up Catholic. So with Catholic, not so much that we're supposed to believe in those things, but when Walter Mercado comes on the TV, we all have to stay quiet.
Como que lo tenías que hacer like in the cut, like very discreet. You couldn't be open about this kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why, in a way, I really do love my religion, because I do believe in these, it's a higher power that's watching out for us, and there's a little bit of blend of the astrology and the spirituality, or how we connect with like our ancestors, it's all just all these living kind of energies and how we use them to help us in our lives. So, I'm very curious cat, so I would learn and dabble in all these little things. And I think the one that stuck the most is like tarot, astrology, and meditations, because they really make a difference in your mental health. So I've been doing a lot of like meditations and breath works and affirmations and things like that. So that's kind of like my good pot of brewing that I really tune into.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I'm sure there's more to it too. So thank you.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the next the topic, the main topic, which is the retrograde. So before we planet, like, how would you describe the retrograde in general?
So Mercury retrograde in general, if I explain it to anyone that doesn't know what the heck this is, it's technically when the planet, because of the orbit we're both on, like the planet and us, it seems to be rotating backwards. But in a sense, because it's not technically, it's more like its energy is rotating backwards. So because it's going backwards, it almost, the traits of this planet will almost do the opposite. So Mercury is ruled by communication, travel, technology, and our homes. So you might notice that a lot of the little things that are not going the way they typically should are having some kind of major malfunction. Yeah. So that's how you want it. That's how you want to see it. And because it's going, let's say, backwards, it has to start rotating back again. So after a 3-week period, it will start almost like coming back into like its orbit travel, you know, like in its regular trek. It's almost like it got out of our regular orbit, and now it's just going to go back into the regular agenda like all the other planets are, you know. So that's what the retrograde is, almost like it's taking 2 steps back. But with that said, technically, because it's going a little bit backwards, how do we respond to that kind of energy? You know, do we slow down? Do we panic?
We don't panic. We go over the sent and we see if that email was sent. Was it actually sent? Literally, that's my life during a retrograde. That's my way of working with that energy. But you said something before that was important. Like, it also depends on not only this action taking place, but what plan. And so what is that for this right now happening? That's happening until you said October 2nd, right?
October 2nd, yeah. Mm-hmm. So Mercury is the planet, again, of communication, technology, travel, home. And as well, Mercury, he was like the messenger of the gods. So that connects with the, you know, the communication. So that's why it's a little bit off. Mercury's quite not making it there. But as well, it lands always in like a particular, you think about what season are we on astrology wise, and we're in Libra. So actually we're in Virgo because it's like Libra, the next one, you see it as it's going backwards. It's kind of like going the opposite as it should, you know?
Right, right.
So because it's in Libra right now, that means as well, you think about the sign of Libra, which rules justice, balance, harmony. And because it's like 2 things, it's like duals. So that relates to relationships, whether it's family, friends, loved ones, like a love. For singles, that's why a lot of right now, maybe a lot of people are seeing their exes trying to reach out to you. That's a trap. It's a test from the universe, so do not respond back or ignore it. Or, you know, you want to be a grown adult and say no and set some boundaries. That's like the best thing you can do right now, you know?
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's some healthy advice.
Yeah, because a lot of people get nervous, especially, right? Like you see an ex coming through and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, why are they messaging me, right? But as well, like I said, because the planet then has to go back into its motion, it's okay that you don't understand why things are happening now, because once it starts going back into motion, its true colors will be revealed to us. So you'll see why your ex reached out, because they were bored, or because they have some crazy ex-girlfriend that was stalking your Instagram and she got, you know, insecure. Like you'll see why. Like it always reveals like the true side of things, because now it starts rotating in its proper side. And that typically happens like the 2 weeks after. So once October 2nd is over, if there was still some stuff that seemed a little bit foggy for you, especially like there was something at work, like at your job, there was supposed to be this position, but we quite haven't heard what's going on, or how we're going to move forward, or how, if they are going to give you a raise, how is the compensation going to happen? And once it starts after October 2nd, everything should start kind of like showing why. Like you'll see why. Oh, maybe because they were thinking a little bit more, or because they're trying to budget, or maybe if they turn out not to offer it to you, then maybe that should be a sign to you that, should I start looking for a new job and to have like a better work environment, relationship? That's also like a relationship, right? Like your job and you. Like, do you have a good relationship with like your superiors, with like your business partners? Is that a healthy environment for you? Like, what are we doing? How are we moving forward?
I love that. No, that's really good to know in terms of like just looking at the month of October, like what to expect. So what would you say about working with energy? Like you said something before that sometimes this happens in order to either slow you down or light a fire under your ass.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it real. Like, I want to know how to work with that energy so I'm not like scared of the retrogrades when they come my way. Like, how do we do that?
Yeah, I know that there's like, especially like media, some medias do a lot of sensational stuff to kind of like grip you with fear, but you shouldn't be. And since it's such a popular transit now, I think that's why people are so like, what is this? You know, because it's gotten a lot of fame in the past like couple of years, but it's not something scary. The retrograde, because it's almost like slowing down, that's a sign for you to slow down. So you should like take it easy, cógelo tranquilo. You don't have to rush into anything. So let's say if a job opportunity does come up, or you see that in your company, there's this position that's open, and it's happening during this time, it's more like, don't rush into it. I think you've done, if you know your own work ethic, you've done enough. But also, it's almost like a time for them to prove themselves. So don't see it as like you rushing into things. Kind of take it easy, or connect more deep with this opportunity. Like, why would I want a higher position? Because I want to grow in the industry, because I want to, prove that I can do this, or this is my passion, or I would like to make more money because everything's going up. So what are my intentions, of wanting to have this position,
That's like a powerful pause that we should.
Yeah, it's a time to, like Evie's actually said, I love the principle of redoing, retrocede, review, reassess, and reflect. Yeah, it's to kind of make sure that, kind of like really reassure yourself. So like, take a step back and like look at everything and try to see, how do you reassess everything? So if you still feel really good about like your goals or the things that are happening in your life at that moment, then it's almost like maybe even see if there's any like little minor adjustments, especially because right now it's in Libra. Let's say relationships wise, with your relationship, if you're now moving forward to like, let's say, what's your next step, then is there something that you're not doing, or your partner's not doing enough for you guys? Or as a pair, like, how do you see yourself in the next 6 months? And you should think that deep, because that's the purpose, to slow down. It's not like you're not just trying to make $100. You want to make financial wealth that continues to grow. So it's like, literally take it slow and try to really connect deeper, and even maybe just adjust and edit like your plan. Like, I want to be rich so I can maintain my family or build my future, or I want to retire early, or I want to buy land in Colombia to be closer to my family. They're like, what is it that you're doing? There has to be a deeper purpose as to why. And I think in therapy too, they teach us those kinds of things, like, what is your why? Just keep asking. That's why I love children sometimes too, because they keep saying why. But they're right. Like, what is the reason?
Either we're doing this together. No, that's really important. That's one of the reasons behind every story I've ever written, every journal entry. You figure out your why. Like, my why keeps me going, and I'll figure out other ways to get it done. But if my why is very clear, because the road can get rough.
Yeah.
Try to keep that why very clear. I always tell that to people, like, even when we let go of things, like, you need to know the lesson from that thing so you can move on a little bit smoother. And I think the same goes for like initiating something in your life. So
yeah,
that's really good advice. So
yeah,
I'm gonna,
of course,
or so, but this is also happening during the autumn equinox, right? So that is happening tomorrow?
Yeah,
between tomorrow and, depending on where you are in the world, but like, so like, not only is this coming at the right time, but this is the time where everyone's like transitioning into a new season anyway, right?
Yeah. It's we're entering a new season, and I love the seasons, especially comparing them to like farming. In the springtime you plant your little seed. In the summer, maybe there's a sprout, but like, what more did I need to add to this water? How do I water it? And then in the autumn, typically that's where we have like our harvest, right? Depending on certain things. So because it's happening right now too, let's say you necessarily haven't really gotten that job, your passion career, it's like still kind of telling us, okay, but what more does it need to really flourish and come out really, really strong out of the grass? It still needs a little bit more something. Does it need more water, more nourishment? Like, do you need nourishment? Because you're probably overworking yourself. So you need to like stop and rest and relax. And it's almost like, if you're not going to do it, the planets are going to make you do it, because your phone might malfunction, so you can't send those messages, or the emails might not work, your computer shut down. And maybe see those as little signs as well, like your guides are trying to tell you, no, first of all, you're supposed to slow down, but here you are still being this, hardworking Latina who needs to chill. So
Yes.
something's gonna stop you for sure.
Please, more of that, more rest, more breaks, more intentional breaks. That resonates with me because I don't know about anyone else, but I'm a hustler. I work a lot and actually like what I do. So that makes it a problem. So I have to really think about like my breaks. And if I don't take an intentional break, I will burn out by the evening. Like I'm almost scared though to take those breaks because I used to think, well, I'm going to lose flow. I'm going to like get in the moment, but it might last a little bit, but then I would completely die out. So I think there's this quote, and I'm probably misquoting, but basically it says, if you don't take a moment, your body will make you take a day. Whoa, that's powerful.
It is. It is, because I could totally feel that. Like if I think that's interesting you said too that like, you love what your hustle, like I love like doing what I do. So it just wants you more, like it just pulls you in naturally. You want to do more of it, whether it's you on social media talking to people or working with clients or just thinking of the next big idea or how do I continue to make this grow. It will take up a lot of you. So it is important. I think I could totally see that if I don't take a moment the next day, I won't be able to do much too.
Yes. Oh no. So you're motivating me this weekend. Actually, this weekend I'm going off the grid. So I'm going to be doing some evaluating of everything. What would you say? What would you give? Like, you know what? If you're going to do any prompt, do this one this weekend. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say a good journal prompt would be, I definitely love the whys, like why am I doing this? But I do have one written down actually. It's because again, the retrograde is like see it as well as like personal growth. So what am I doing between now and then to kind of help me better? So it's kind of like I would say is where am I now? Kind of think about it before you start writing this out. Just kind of see yourself where you are now, like how you came through, because it's what we have, like, let's say this fall equinox. The equinox is also time to kind of take it easy, but as well maybe look at like what all the great things you did. Don't just beat yourself up about like, I don't have that position just yet. Okay, but you worked these extra projects, you started this new you pitched this new idea and they loved it and it's been successful. It's shown these really great numbers. So even maybe doing some kind of journal prompt that's holding gratitude of like, what if you could, say thank you to yourself for 3 things you've created, what would that be? Like, how would you say that?
Like that. Write that down. Yes. I love noting the wins. It's very easy for us to just focus on like what needs work and not stopping to be like, actually, I'm pretty dope. Let me list the reasons why.
Yeah. We get caught up with like, again, we have all these different kind of identities as Latinas, whether it's you're the first American here, or you graduated school, or like, let's say you take care of your parents, or you have children and your parents, or you're single and you have all these people, it's kind of like you just keep focusing on like the goal. So sometimes you forget, oh, wait, at the beginning of the year, for example, I actually have continued to make more connections each month compared to, let's say, the list of clients or friends I connected. I don't even call them clients because, to be honest, once I get someone a reading, we always connect and we chit chat and we'll stay in touch. Maybe I'll see them at an event or they jump on the lives, and I just feel like we become girlfriends now. And when women connect, when Latinas connect, it's just such a great, powerful, healing circle that we could just be like talking. I don't really need to ask you, let's say, be really your therapist to connect with a really deep question, but it's just like talking with each other. It's just such a good healing form. So I really enjoy connecting with the women that reach out to me, or that we find each other and that we do those things. And I've realized I made a lot more connections this year than I have in the past. And each woman has definitely helped me make a difference. Or like as I'm talking to them, because people come with tarot readings because, let's say, you don't understand why this is happening to you, or you want to know how that's going to unfold for you. So you kind of just really see like their own hustle, or like the hard work they put into, whether it's for love or for money or career or even self-development. A lot of girls, a lot of Latinas especially, are like doing a lot of inner work that they want to, and they almost even ask me like, I want to know if I'm doing the right thing. But to me, you know, you take a moment yourself to think, you're like, of course you are, because you're doing this and you already done all of that. You just kind of have to be patient and almost take a moment to realize, oh, I really came this far, you know, like it's not just about, you know, getting to the goal. It's kind of like realizing the path that we're on too.
Thank you. That's so important. The reflecting. It's like 9 months to look back on.
Yeah, actually, you're right. We're like 9 months deep.
We are.
And it happens so fast.
I'm that girl at work because I do production and like project management and things like that. I'm that girl that's like, yo, tomorrow's June. Like tomorrow's June 2023. What do we do? You know, and people are like, that's daunting. I'm like, time flies by really quickly. So me, I'm like gonna get on like a few things that I thought I was gonna get on top of this year, that I'm gonna see if I can, like if there's room, but without killing myself. That's always my goal. Like I would love to make this happen. Let's just say singing that, but not at the cost of my mental health.
Yeah.
You know, like that's my limit. Like I want to indulge and have fun and take care of myself in this life, but not to that point. So I'm gonna definitely look at this and journal this weekend. Did some prompts of my own. So
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of yeah, I can't believe 9 months have gone by. And I think when you're putting so much energy out there, you know, that's whether you're working, you're studying, you're saving, you know, you're doing all these things, you just lose track of the time, you know.
For sure. And do you have now with the end of the year, do you have any kind of end of this like kind of transit, you know, stepping out of it, like a ritual that you want to recommend to anybody that, you know, if you don't know where to start, not doing this wrong, try this?
Yeah, I mean, I think a great thing to do, first of all, is just really ask yourself, what is it that I really do want out of my life? Like, what is it I want? Do I know that I want, let's say, in a sense, for example, like money. To me, money does have like a lot of those other little bubbles, like you think about it. Like money brings, it does bring financial wealth, but it does bring like a peace of mind. Like it brings healthcare. I won't have to struggle to think, oh, how about if I lose my job? Or like, will my job fire me because I'm sick with COVID, especially COVID, and then monkeypox and all these things happening. Like, I think that was a big fear of a lot of people. Like, oh, well, if I get sick, then what's going to happen? You know, if you were financially well off, you don't think about those things, right? You're just like, I'm just present. So I think that's that was me connecting deeper as to why I want more money. Sometimes people just think, I want more money. Okay, but why would you like money? Or maybe it, you know, just envision yourself with the money. What am I doing with this money? Is it because I'm traveling the world? Am I helping my abuelita back at home with her house and building it? Are we, you know, am I buying property? Am I saving money to, you know, have my own place, like have some kind of sense of security? I want to retire early so I could just enjoy my life and get to travel. Like, you know, and even I think the great thing about your imagination is that once you start with one little thing, it just starts to go and go and go larger, right? Like I could just envision myself in Colombia, but am I going just to Colombia, or am I going all through South America and then driving through Central and just come back through America, through the border? You know, like, what am I doing with this travel? It could really go and expand. So just doing a lot of like visualizations, I think, will really help people, because it's okay if you don't know what you want right now. Maybe just ask yourself, what would make me happy right now? It doesn't matter if you don't have the money or the resource for it. Just imagine it. Like, okay, because it doesn't matter. I always tell people a form, you know, the universe is always testing us. and the faith is a big tester, right? Like, as long as you have faith, things will work out. So sometimes if people ask me, when I give them a reading, they'll ask me, okay, when is this going to happen? There are certain things that you can tell when it's going to happen, but there's other things that I always tell them. I was like, look, when you continue to ask how and when it's going to happen, that's you questioning the universe. So therefore, you're not having faith in the process. So you just have to trust the process and just surrender to it. And I think as well in those visualizations, just surrender to what comes to your mind. Maybe something, your intuition is going to show you something. Oh, you keep envisioning, let's say, you keep envisioning your homeland, then maybe it's because I do want to go there, or something's calling me to go there. So just go to Nicaragua then, see what happens, you know? Start planning for that. And it's just, it starts that small. And I think that's the great thing about the new year. In a sense, it kind of invokes that energy to people, because let's say it's almost like, right, it's a new year, so people start thinking, okay, it's a restart. I could just restart. So ask yourself, okay, if I can restart, what would I want? What would I want out of this restart? If I had a whole new life, what would it be? And it's okay if I don't have those things right now. You just start, as long as you start implementing little things. Maybe I could do a daily journal, a weekly journal of why I would want those things, or how do these things make a difference in my life? What do I need? You know, what would I need? It's okay. You can make a list of the things that you need, so you can see, okay, this is how I am going to make this happen, you know? But a lot of these transits, especially here towards the end, they're all about like, it's definitely a time to take it easy. You shouldn't be out here like pushing yourself, rushing into anything. It's literally asking us to just like reflect on ourselves, like our future. So it's okay to envision yourself 5 years from now. What would I want 5 years from now? And what does the me now have to do to make that happen for her? You know? Mm-hmm. And like really kind of try to see that. Again, it's okay if you don't have those things. Just use your imagination.
Yeah, the only requirement is that you dream big. The only requirement is imagination, curiosity. You could have your limited beliefs, put them in a box and outdoors somewhere. They don't gotta be, you know? Because I think them inherently just from like life and trauma and experience and fears and insecurities. So, you know, I don't want to make believe that they're not there, but for this moment that you're gonna journal this and dream a big dream, look at all the wind is coming here, you know. So for real, that is I received that advice in college years ago, and I didn't understand what he was telling me at the time, but everything else he had given me guidance on before work, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So he made me write an essay that's very similar to what you're, and basically he was like, you're what, 18, 19 years old right now. Imagine you're like 10 years from now, 15 years, what is she doing? Like, what is she like reflecting on? What is her next move? Like, what is she so proud to finally accomplish? And I was like, oh, I can do that, because it felt like just writing a story, like, you know. And I found that essay before I, you know, traveled a few weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, it's a lot of that stuff came true. I have to like, you know, legit post it or do something so people can see, but it was like so focused on the creative and having a voice and how things get made. It was just so specific. This is a long time. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, write it down. Write it all. Yeah. Write those dreams down, what it looks like, everything that you said. And I feel like I was checking off all the things as you said it, like, yes, helping a family in their country to get their house. Yes, buying something here. I'm like, can I check off all of it?
Yeah, and then even if like those insecurities do come up, I think take that as a moment of a revelation. Oh, I still have some insecurities of growing up lower class, or because I was growing up with a single mom. Yep. So what am I doing to release those feelings, those insecurities, or what kind of, you know, what kind of work am I doing to manage that kind of anxiety and stress, you know? And also, it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to fix it, let's say, overnight. So then you're on this successful path. You're still human. You're so human, and we're experiencing all these things and we're learning from it. So it's okay if you have anxiety and stress or overthinking, you know, because there's all these other factors, like you said, like these outside factors like society and family that created these aspects of you. So it's not really your fault, but how do I manage it to stay as well, like so focused on my goals for the future is something really powerful that people can do.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Yeah, I feel like, again, all these the retrogrades are not evil or as chaotic. I know certain things there's no, so actually Mercury has been scientifically proven that the energy and the ways, the radioactive ways that we receive from it is literally what's triggering the technology. So I'll say when it comes to technology, that's the only thing I think it's kind of hard for us to have control over, because I don't know, my laptop already has malfunctioned like 3 times, and so I just let it be. I literally closed it and I walked away. And I was like, I'm gonna leave it. So when it comes to technology, don't be, I would say that part, because it's hard to have control of that. But I guess just be mindful. Like, did I send that email? I saw it go through, or the messages. If someone hasn't replied back to you, don't take it personally. Maybe look at your phone. Is it on airplane mode? Is it correct? Are there any bars? Maybe they don't have any bars where they're at. You don't know where they're standing. So as well, don't take anything personally. Yeah.
For sure. Through and through, like crossing, making sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. Like, this is the season.
Yeah, and then as well, just the whole reflection is very important. I think that's like the major theme, to just slow down and see. And because again, it's in Libra. Libras are people who tend to weigh their options because they're trying to find a good balance, so then they have harmony and flow. So what are you trying to balance right now, or what needs a little bit of balance too, so your life just starts flowing? And like, in a sense, how do I want to end the year? Because we're like 3 months away. So, you want to end it good. You want to end it right, or for it to be a good, to be continued into like the 2023. So just maybe like, how do I find a good balance to continue to roll into that season?
I'm going to focus on that. I like the balance aspect of it, especially because even though I love fall and I love the winter, every season comes for me. Like, I still have to transition, and I get a little sad that it's getting darker sooner. But like, hazte una sopita and whip out the journal and like indulging yourself in your dreams and all of it. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna make sure this email got sent, and then I'm gonna make myself a sopa and chill out at home.
Oh man, it's funny you said that, because I was telling my roommate, I live with my roommate, and I told him, I was like, I want to make a sopa, but he's Cuban and I'm from Nicaragua, so he's like, a sopa? I think they only do like chicken or gallo or something like that. And I was like, yeah, una sopa de res con malanga and yuca and papa, and you throw all these heavy carbs in there, and then they put you to sleep, and then you go to rest.
And it doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees outside or 110, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for the Latina soul right there. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your tips and your wisdom and your knowledge about the planets. Ya saben, don't freak out. Work with this energy. There's always a way to do it. Whip out that journal and slow down. Ask yourself these questions. You know what? You don't have to fill up the whole page. It could just be bullet points, a word or a phrase. Back to it. Be kind to yourself when you're trying something new. And if you have any more questions or you want a session, you already know who to go to. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck. let's
Thank you. Yes. I mean, good luck to everyone too. We have a few days left, right? Like 10. We have 10. Yeah. But you got this. Just, even here, just kind of moving forward, just take each day easy. Don't push yourself, because like you said, if you don't, if you don't take a moment, then it's going to take a day. I love that.
Yes. That, I mean, as it pertains to my healthcare and wellness, if you don't take your body will make you take a day, Your time is precious, and you out there trying to make things happen. When you hear that forces you to be like, you know what, 15 minutes isn't so bad. But just take it.
Yeah.
Take the time.
Yeah, literally it could be 15 minutes, 5. Go get some water.
Thank you so much for your time, and we'll be talking soon.
Yes, thank you.
Bye. Enjoy.